Hello and welcome to this video. My name is Kaiman, and in this video I would like to share to you some of my experience in applying scholarship, and specifically I would like to focus on the interview sessions. I would like to share the experience, the stories. I would like to share some tips and tricks that I used that time, and also I would like to show you what to expect when going in to interview for scholarships. So interviews, it may sound scary, and really it is scary. And I still remember that at that time when I was applying my scholarships, some of my friends that have good result, and I asked them why not give it a try to go to apply for scholarships. And the number one reason they always give me is they don't want to go through the interview. So I'm not shooting this video to tell you that interview is scary and you should avoid it. No, don't do that. The chance is you are here because you are already decided that you want to apply for scholarships and you want to know what it is like to go for an interview. So this video is all about it. It all starts with an email that tells me that I've been shortlisted to the interview round. So I got a date, I got a time, and the venue is at Cyberjaya, which I'm staying in Malacca, so I have to travel to Cyberjaya at the time. So I went there, and during the whole journey I'm super nervous about it. When I reached there are about 9 candidates. They are also waiting for the interviews. So I've been placed at number 6 of number 7 to the interview. So there's a lot of time for me to wait and to be nervous about it. Think back about it is quite funny. So skip everything in front. It's my turn. They call my name, I stand up, I walk in the room, and the scenario is this. When I walk in, I saw that is 6 interviewers in front of me, and they invited me to sit at the place, and there's a table divide me and 6 interviewers. So at that time I was thinking, luckily that it's a table, so that because my leg was shaking, so luckily there's a table for me to cover my leg. The interviewers, they're actually quite kind. Maybe they see that I'm quite nervous, so they try to introduce themselves first, one by one, and then after that they asked me to introduce myself, and I introduced myself. But I still remember that at that time I'm so nervous. The first few sentences, my lips were shaking and my legs was also shaking. And here is a part where I learned one lesson that I hope at that time I knew, but it's okay, I share it to you right now. The lesson is you should prepare your introduction script. And by no means I'm not saying that you should like memorize the whole script and just pour it out in front of the interviewers. No, but you should be well prepared on what you want to say during the introduction of yourself part, because it may sound like easy. It's like telling my name is easy, telling my age is easy, where I'm from is easy, what I am doing, what is the course that I'm taking is very easy. But at the time where you are super nervous, your brain might be blank, and at the time you do not know what to say. So it's good to like memorize a bit and know that at the time you are super nervous, at least your mouth, you know what to say. So this is the first mistake that I made that time. So the video until here, you might heard that I say the word nervous, anxious for a lot of time, but things start to get better after I introduce myself. So after I have warmed up myself and talked a bit, I start to realize that I become comfortable with the environments. And I'm telling you this because I do not want you to feel too nervous, too scared to the interviews, and at last you refuse to go for interview. Please don't do that. Just know that taking the first step is the hardest, and once you take the first step, the rest become much more easier and easier. While I am introducing myself, the interviewers start to review my cert for asking the next questions, and I have submitted a cert of student exchange programs up there. So they asked for the experience that I had in my student exchange program, and for me this is a bonus questions because I knew very well about the student exchange program. I went there for 14 days and I really knew what I'm doing. So I just share my experience, I share what I have learned during the process, I share what I have grown, what mistake that I made during that time, and what I hope to improvise myself during that process. At last, it became more like a sharing sessions instead of like interview sessions. So I really enjoyed that. While you're submitting your cert, submit the cert that you feel proud of, that you know a lot about it, that you can share a lot of experience, so that when the interview sessions, you have a lot of things to share. And then another common question that they will ask is, you are applying scholarships and you are applying to go for a major, go for a course. They might ask you why you take that course, what is the reason behind it. So be sure you prepare this question well. And at that time, they asked me this question as well. They asked, why do you pick banking and finance as a course that you want to pursue? And honestly, at that time, I did not prepare well for the questions. Luckily, I still managed to answer their questions. They asked me about banking and finance, and I switched the topic a bit. I talked about why I choose business as the subject, because banking and finance is under the business course. So I just answered them why I choose business and the reason. I guess I should share a bit here. The reason I say it is I believe that taking a business subject will help me in managing money, the ability to earn money, and the ability to use that money to invest is two different abilities, which is another skill that is essential for us to have right now. So that's the answer that I gave. And one more tips here is, if the interviewer is asking you the questions that you might not able to answer them, try your best to twist the question a bit, twist the directions of the questions so that you are able to answer and you are able to save yourself. That is how I save myself from the questions. So the interview ends after that questions, and I'm so relieved that the interview finally ended at that time. And honestly, if you want me to share the feeling that I have during that interview, I would say that it was only the first 30 seconds that I felt super nervous, that my emotion almost take over me. But after those 30 seconds, after I talk for a bit, I start to feel relaxed. I start to feel that I belong to there. I start to feel that I'm able to express what I want to express. So give it a try. I mean, you are watching this video most probably because you want to go for an interview, or you want to go to apply scholarships, and interview may be one of the obstacles, the challenge that you fear the most. Don't fear. Now I've been through that, and I'm here to tell you that I did not regret during the decisions of going to the interview. So the story part is done. Now we go a bit in the tips and tricks on the interview. And the first tips, I mean, although just now I give some of the tips, but this is the first tips that I think is the most important one, which is, while doing interview, you want to try to be yourself. And let me explain this. You might hear these tips a lot, but I'm saying in the sense that you don't try to boost yourself in front of the interviews. People don't like other people's boost. The whole point of interview is to let the interviewers to know more about you and to evaluate whether you deserve the scholarship or not. So while I'm saying that it's not right to boost, but it is your job to sell your strength. And I know it's a little bit contradictory, but you want to do it in the way that you are not boosting. So I give an example to you. So if you want to talk about your strength and let the interviewers know the strength, you may try to do it in the way that you share the stories, and most probably the best story that you can tell is through the co-curricular activities. You have learned some of the lessons, some of the values and the value now become your strength. So the thing is this, strength and weakness, they are not completely opposites. Sometimes your strength may be your weakness, sometimes your weakness can be your strength. So it's good to say that it is your weakness at first, but at last, because you spend more time at it, or somehow you realize it because you experience it, and it becomes your strength. So in this way, you are sharing the stories, you are letting the interviewers to be more interested in listen to what you have been through, and at the same time you are selling your strength as well. And which in this way you are not selling the strength just only by saying, oh, I'm confident, I'm a straight A student. You are not just telling them a statement, but you back up with evidence, which is your story. And one last thing I want to talk to you is, I'm not sure that the interviews that you go, will they ask you about the academic stuff like solving equations or asking the questions that related to your field. In my case, they did not ask me anything about it. So I hope you learned a lot from this video and found these strategies, tips and tricks helpful in your interviews to the scholarships. So I hope the best of luck on you. I hope you get what you want. And if you want to know how to submit a better application form so that you stand more chance in going to interviews, feel free to check my last video. I will show the link down there and also the title. I don't know what it costs, but anyway, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.